Morning, my lovelies. I hope you're all doing very well and enjoying the start of your new week. I am. I just wanted to breach a new subject because it was something that I'd heard someone had mentioned quite recently, and I didn't know how to take it initially. But after meditating on it over a few days, it's taken on a new meaning and doesn't, for some reason, feel so oppressive and offensive, basically. So I was thinking, what is the real message? What is being trying to put across to us when we are being asked to be softer? What is actually really being asked of us, in particular women? Because often enough, this kind of comment tends to come from the males, the male gender. And of course, being a black woman of African descent who has grown up in this environment where this is how we express ourselves, this is who we are, it's part of our heritage, I took it quite personally because, that's part of the culture. Or is it one of those character traits that we've just inherited and taken on as part of our nurturing, seen our mums, our aunties, our siblings behave in that particular way? Possibly. Is it something we can do away with? Is it something that we actually need to carry on? I don't know, you choose. But when I really deeped it, I decided there's a bigger message being translated, and we may have to take a new approach, a new perspective. I mean, it could easily be missed. It's very subtle. So let me break it down. What happens when somebody expresses that they didn't particularly like a deliverance of something we've said? What are they actually saying? And that we need to possibly try and not be so harsh with our words. I've heard it once or twice. What they're actually saying is, let's go back a bit. Nobody wants to feel vulnerable. They don't want to show others that they feel vulnerable or that anything that they've said has actually had an effect on them. Because it might feel like you're rendering yourself powerless by exposing that something has affected you in some way or the other. Or, some might think it's a type of weakness. Some might think that. So what if we saw this communication as them actually allowing themselves to be vulnerable? And that is coming from somewhere other than their bruised ego. What if we saw it as their higher self potentially attempting to appeal to our higher self? Hear me out. Listen, our higher self will alert us to things that we don't like, things that don't feel right in our core, or what behaviour doesn't support our wellness. So if someone takes offence when we expressed ourselves and asked us to be a bit softer, there might be some space to interpret it as that the higher self trying to appease our higher self, not their bruised ego. So if somebody takes offence when we express ourselves and asks us to be softer, I'm now going to be open to interpreting it as their higher self trying to communicate with my higher self. An attempt to appease my higher self into taking a different stance with my communication. I know it's different, but it just sort of occurred to me. But of course, it's not going to always be easy because we also have egos and our egos are also at play. Listen, this doesn't apply in every situation, of course. I'm not talking about those situations where you may be at work or come across someone in your walk of life that might take offense to your words because they may consider themselves bigger than you or be on a higher pay grade than you, or because of, certain stereotypes that actually place males and gender or race before anything else. I'm not talking about those situations. Those particular ones, you'd have to use your own discernment to decide what's actually at play. But I'm talking about when you're dealing with people that you respect, you love, i.e. your loved ones, friends, the ones that actually matter. But of course, we both have egos, so ours is at play also. And more than likely, it would automatically take offense at such words because the person's delivery might not have been that appealing. Their delivery could have been just as harsh. So it's the battling of two egos in the process. Maybe their delivery and our defensiveness needs to be addressed, and a little work needs to go into that also. It's a give and take. But I think once we know this and we do decide to try and consider it from a different perspective, it's not our duty. It's not our duty as an individual to force our own will or force change in anybody. It really isn't. It's not our duty to try and change their viewpoint or try and win the battle against them. That's where obviously conflict starts. The diamond is actually in the know, in the knowledge, in the acceptance that, this request is coming from a higher place and it's not from malice. Because I know we all tend to think, how dare they? It's not coming from, if obviously we choose to look at it this way, if we address it as it's coming from a higher place, if they express those words to you in the future, maybe allow them the opportunity to express themselves. If you honestly don't believe how you expressed yourself was offensive or aggressive, still consider a new stance. It's worth a try. Try this. Try visualizing the outcome you want. Try this exercise. Try and visualize you and that individual having a harmonious exchange. You both come into some agreement where both of you are acceptant of the other and it's not combative. It really does work. Doing this exercise over time will shift your perspective. It will create a whole new mindset. You'll just create new scenarios when you're, up against things that are not maybe that comfortable. Recreating it in your mind's eye first, in those situations where you're in sort of arenas that might not be that pleasant. If you try and sort of prelude it with how you think it would actually turn out, can actually create a more harmonious exchange. You'll be able to express to one another how, in a way that it suits both of you, because the outcome will change. Once you start doing this over and over time, if you keep doing that, like I do it with most situations, even in not bad situations, just how I would like things to actually proceed. How much do we need to be right? Or how much conviction needs to be expressed before we get our point across? This is something I'm having to deal with and something I'm having to bring into my awareness every day, because I've been accused of it every so often. We can all go off on a tangent and then maybe in hindsight think, actually, it's not a fight, it's not even necessary. There's no necessity. We can, agree to disagree. It happens on the odd occasion. But who knows? This might inspire the other person to also, to be less reactive to your expression in the future. They'll be able to see that it's not coming from a bad place. You'll create a new level playing field, and everything will live swimmingly. Everything will be harmonious in the future. Really, it starts in the mind first. Create it in your mind first, and it will become your reality. And that's everything on this plane, not just communication. What you want to create, what you want to bring into your world, how you want to change your world. Everything starts with the mind. So this is no exception. So I hope that was useful. Until the next time. Namaste, my people.